The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development has awarded nearly $1 million to Sioux City and 3 local agencies to address homelessness. Sioux City was awarded $320,000. Heartland Counseling Services got $406,000. Safe Place Siouxland was awarded $115,000, and the Center for Siouxland got $87,000. Now, Heartland's permanent supported housing program, that was the biggest recipient. Heartland wants to expand and has set its sights on homelessness as a health issue, but it needs to address housing first. KTIV's Taylor Deckert has more on their efforts in Healthbeat 4.
Issues of mental health, public safety, and homelessness continue to be a major focus for certain Siouxland organizations.
People that were getting housed, they may need assistance in a lot of other areas. It's not just about putting them in an apartment or putting them in a house and assuming that their issues are all going to be resolved.
The Continuum of Care program of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development is designed to promote a community-wide commitment to ending homelessness. In 2022, Heartland's permanent supported housing received just under $400,000 to run its program, providing housing to the chronically homeless population. What does it mean to be chronically homeless? HUD describes it as people who have experienced homelessness for at least 1 year or repeatedly while struggling with a disability, either physical or mental. With this new round of federal funding, Heartland plans to expand its services.
The new award that we just got will start, we're going to hire another person in July, and that will add another 14 households, basically.
Right now, they currently house 33 individuals within this program. Being placed in apartments all across Sioux City, the homeless have been given another chance to reset their lives and get back on their feet. The first step is finding a safe place to live. Once in the home, Heartland's Counseling Services takes it a step further and helps them with their disability, substance abuse, medication management, and so much more.
That really is key, is for people to get those wraparound services, and we work really hard to make referrals out of our office to get people those wraparound services.
They need assistance to do those things. It's not just about getting their rent paid.
For Healthbeat 4, Taylor Deckert, KTIV News 4.
Now, these are just a few of the many organizations working quickly to rehouse homeless individuals or their families. HUD promotes a goal of self-sufficiency among those experiencing hopelessness by finding programs like that one.